There's an interesting article that's been published today in the Financial Times, and while the topic may seem admired in regulatory jargon, it's really a story of political posturing, the delicate dance between investment and influence, and the unresolved tensions of sovereignty in a global world. So Keir Starmer's government is suggesting that it may put a cap on the ownership of British media by foreign investors, and it's suggesting that this is a new idea advanced by the present government. In fact, it's an idea that was already being debated back in March 2024 under Rishi Sunak's Conservative government, which was trying to amend the Enterprise Act of 2002 to introduce a ban on foreign state ownership of UK newspapers. And this emerged against the backdrop of growing concerns over foreign influence in media, particularly through sovereign wealth funds, and the immediate catalyst, the controversial bid for the Telegraph by a Redbird IMI, a partnership involving Abu Dhabi interests. And Tories argued that such deals posed risks to democracy and editorial independence, despite Abu Dhabi being a significant UK ally. Abu Dhabi today, Moscow tomorrow. At the heart of their approach was a proposed 5% ownership cap for state investors, intended to strike a balance allowing passive investment while precluding undue influence. And a consultation was underway when Labour came into power in July 2024, leaving this regulatory framework hanging in limbo, and so it's interesting that it's being picked up now. So Labour is proposing doubling this ownership from 5% to 10%, and the justification and need for pragmatism. Labour argues that the higher threshold ensures that the UK remains open to much-needed foreign investment while granting editorial control, without granting editorial control to state entities. Critics, however, suggest that this prioritises economic expediency over safeguarding press freedom. And the shift also underscores Labour's broader attempts to reset relations with investment-heavy states like the UAE. And Prime Minister Keir Starmer's recent visit to Abu Dhabi reflects a desire to smooth tensions exacerbated by the Telegraph saga. But Labour's adjustment risks alienating domestic stakeholders, including media executives wary of foreign influence and MPs on both sides of the aisle. The crux of the issue lies in balancing two competing interests. On the one hand, the UK media industry needs capital, particularly from cash-rich sovereign wealth funds. Examples abound, from Qatar's interest in teaming up with the Daily Mail owners to Norway's pension funds holding stakes in global media companies. On the other hand, there's a clear threat posed by foreign states using media investments to exert influence. The Telegraph, with its sway over Conservative politics, became a lightning rod for these fears. Critics like Ian Duncan Smith raised alarms over potential security concerns, reflecting broader anxieties about narratives aligning with foreign interests. And Labour's consultation continues to grapple with the thorny questions. Should pension funds for democracies like Canada or Norway face the same restrictions as entities linked to authoritarian regimes? And what safeguards can be put in place to prevent even small stakes from translating into influence? One must also consider the potential unintended consequences of overly stringent restrictions and regulations. Media executives warn that setting the threshold too low could chill legitimate investments, impacting the broader health of the industry. Labour's proposed 10% cap for diversified businesses reflects this concern, allowing investments while media assets are a minor part of a conglomerate's portfolio. For Labour, this issue is fraught with political risks. While a higher cap may appease international investors, it could be perceived domestically as capitulation to foreign interests, and this perception is particularly potent given Labour's positioning as a defender of British sovereignty and democracy. Moreover, any misstep could reignite tensions with allies like the UAE, whose officials were already frustrated by negative commentary during the Telegraph debacle. At its core, this debate highlights the intricate relationship between media plurality and the democratic integrity. The press is not merely an economic entity, but a cornerstone of public discourse, And as the FT reminds us, newspapers thrive on their ability to challenge established norms, foster debate, and hold power to account. Allowing foreign state influence, however small, risks eroding trust in these institutions. Labour's decision will ultimately signal its broader approach to governance, a test of whether it can balance the imperatives of economic openness with the ethical demands of safeguarding democracy. So I hope, for the sake of a vibrant and independent press, that the government can get this balance right. At the moment, I don't think it's getting very much right, but let's wait and see.